All right, good morning. Let's see how Todd performs at 4:25 a.m. So, this may be the earliest live that I've ever done. Well, no, I don't know. I've had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and in Europe to do a 6 p.m. Pacific time A team. But yeah, so I mean, we've all probably heard that phrase 3 feet from gold. And the power of perseverance, it's like how much staying power do you have? What's your commitment to being here long enough to figure it out? And if you don't know that story, it's about a guy who bought a piece of land, and I'm pretty sure it's actually a true story. I'm gonna have to go Google that. In fact, let me check this out real quick. I'll do it later. I'm pretty confident it's not a fable or whatever. Guy buys a piece of land, is mining every day, mines, nothing, total frustration, nothing happens, and finally gives up and sells his land for pennies on the dollar. And the guy that buys the land from him, maybe somebody, I don't know, maybe one of you guys that are more awake than I can find that story and post it for me or something. I don't know. So he sells his land for pennies on the dollar, and within 3 feet of where he finished mining, the guy strikes like the largest vein of gold. I don't know, largest vein of gold ever. I don't know. But let's just say found a bunch of gold, since I don't have all that data in front of me. You know, it's just interesting because, like, I mean, I was, for me, and you guys know this, but like I was 2 years in before I ever made a dime. I was 4 years in before I ever made 10 grand. And people get utterly frustrated at week number 2. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's good morning, by the way. Happy early Tuesday morning. This is day 2 in a row of me getting up at 3:45 and popping in here to watch this trader dude. You know, I mean, even friends like people that I know, like John Melton, who I was on his show, I don't know, a week and a half ago, and I interviewed him a few weeks ago. I think it was like 15 years before he hit it big. And even if I look at myself, I mean, yeah, okay, so I had a 10 grand month at year 4. It didn't go from 10 to 15 to 20 to 25 like that. I mean, it was probably, I got to think for a second. It was probably year 6 before I made a couple hundred. 2 years of nothing, like nothing. Couple, you know, another year of, you know, ups and downs, 7 grand, 10 grand, up and down. And, you know, I mean, it's like, what kind of staying power do you have? Even a guy that I connected with last night, he's been in network marketing longer than me. He's been in for 38 years. And he told me last night, it was like 17. He was 17 years in before he got any traction. And I didn't like ask him specifically, but he was like, yeah, I mean, he told me last night on Facebook, it's like, yeah, 17 years it took me to get traction. And I don't know, maybe, I mean, I can sit here and give you guys a bunch of stories. I'm going to keep this one short because I want to get back to these trades, but you know, I don't know that success is necessarily about talent. Not that talent's not nice, but it's like, who can outlast? It's like that show Survivor. I remember meeting Jeff Probst on a skateboard in Venice, a guy from Survivor. It was actually interesting. Funny enough, this is years ago, man. I was down there getting my NLP certification. I got to think this is, I mean, I was living in Seattle, so it's got to be 15, 16 years ago. So I lived in LA for a month to get my NLP and Ericksonian hypnosis certification and some other things. And I'm in Venice and I bump into Jeff Probst, the guy from Survivor. And I was like, yeah, man, my wife and I like the show. And I don't know how many years it was going at that point, maybe 3 or something. And I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about, getting on the show. He's like, yeah, you should do it. He goes, we only got one more season left, or a couple more seasons left. And I was like, oh, okay. It's funny seeing that dude because he's wearing his baby blue shirt. He looked exactly like he was. It looks like he just got off the set of Survivor. Seriously. And I didn't decide to do it, but it's interesting. I mean, I think Survivor is still going, in fact, or if it isn't, it sure went like another 15 years later. And that whole show is about, outlast, right? So, I mean, how long can you succumb to lack of results without giving up on yourself? And like that story, like the 3 feet from gold, a lot of times your biggest breakthrough comes right after you quit, but you'll never know. So I've known a lot of people that come into network marketing, a lot of really talented people, like pretty amazing people, and they just don't have the patience. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know. I don't think sorry, if you bought a franchise, you wouldn't expect to pull any money out of it for probably 3, 4, 5 years, and you'd spend like minimum $500,000 out of pocket dollars. And yet people aren't getting rich in network marketing in month 3, and they're pissed off. So, and that concept of like overnight success, I mean, that overnight success, from my experience, has always been built over time, like a length of time. Even like this guy that I'm watching right now, who I'm on a live stream. He's been trading for like 15 years, but like his first several years, he didn't do very good. Like, I mean, he lost money. I was watching yesterday was like a 17-hour workday for me. I started at 4 a.m. and I finished, I don't know, what is it? So 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 16-hour workday yesterday. So I started at 4, I finished at 10. And he was like, I was going through his course last night, and he was, I can't remember exactly how much he lost, but he started in penny stocks, and then he went to like blue chips, and then kind of found his sweet spot, but he lost money. And then this whole day trading thing that I'm doing, like 95% of the people don't win. 95% failure rate. A legit 95% failure rate. People come in and they lose all their money. They can't emotionally handle it. One thing I mentioned on a live the other day that was pretty fascinating is I'm reading these books on trading in general, but also day trading. And there's strategies and technicals and all of that, but mindset is ever present in every single one of those books, every single one of them. So, and I don't know that, I mean, it's just like, it's for any of you that are pursuing something worthwhile. And I know a lot of people probably follow me or definitely in network marketing, but it's worth paying the price. It's worth paying the price. I can tell you, and I'm gonna bail here in a second because I want to go listen to this guy. I look back at 2 years of not making no money. And what if you ask if you ask the guy that I talked to last night, or if you ask John Melton, or I could probably list a whole bunch of other people. Most people I know that make big money in network marketing, their first couple of years was not great. And in some cases, the first 8 to 10 years wasn't great. Yeah, in some of those cases, those people made, oh yeah, I made a few grand. And then they hit it to like 50 grand, 100 grand a month or something like that. But like a lot of people wouldn't even hang through the few grand. And I've coached a bunch of people over the years where, which is cool. It's totally. I mean, I'm not knocking this at all. Like, I remember coaching this woman like maybe a couple of years ago, and she's like, "Oh, and she was like 12 months in, maybe less than 12 months in, and she was making like, I don't know, she was making like $3,000 a month in residual income, which is like, 36 grand a year, and she's like, I don't know, I should be doing better, and I appreciate that. That's amazing. Like but look, if you and my brain is not awake enough to calculate this. Hold on a second. Let me take a quick sip. I'm like, that's like you having, I don't know, X amount of dollars in an investment portfolio earning you 36 grand a year in interest. Again, my brain is not quite awake this morning. This is a test for me to do a live at 4:30 in the morning. But anybody who's pursuing something worthwhile, like I would hope that like you're pursuing something that at the end of the rainbow has some amazing reward, whatever that is. It's like, why would you pursue anything with any diligence that you didn't feel was worthwhile to begin with? Like, it's worth paying the price. And the other thing, I'll finish with this. It's really, really easy to forget about what made you do it in the first place when you're utterly frustrated. When you're like, I don't have my napkin this morning. If you saw me yesterday, I had a white tissue that I used for waving the flag. I don't know. I can't even remember what I was talking about yesterday. But do you have the staying power? And I mean, there were times where, many times, my first couple of years where I felt like throwing in the towel, where I felt like quitting, but I didn't. I'm not saying that I didn't go home and cry and was like, what's wrong with me? But I didn't give up. And now I look back at the pains and frustrations of like the first 2 years, and it's not even a blip. So whatever you're experiencing right now, the anguish, the fear, the desperation, the frustration, if you stop, you're never going to get it. And if you keep fighting and you keep fighting and you never stop fighting, you'll look back one day and you'll be like, that actually wasn't that bad. And I'm so grateful that I had the staying power to see it through to fruition. So anyhow, half awake Todd this morning. I'm going to go. I think this guy's entering a trade and I want to see what he's doing. So, all right, y'all, have a beautiful Tuesday. Maybe I'll pop back in here later today. All right. We'll see you.